Hi, and welcome to a battle report in preparation for Lincon. I'm up against Stefan and his Undying Dynasties. He played it terracotta style and it looked like this. My army is the same as last game, and we'll see if it goes through another round of testing or if I change something. When it comes to the matchup, I had some small worries, but I went into the game thinking I should be able to handle things rather well, since he will be hard pressed to deal with my fast cav. The Sphinx and the Catapult might become a nuisance, but we'll see how that goes. As last game, we rolled Counterfrost and Hold the Ground. I really like the way the Counterfrost works when it comes to influencing how your opponent deploys. This game too, I managed to make use of that, and I blocked him from bunkering up around the hill. Hold the Ground was probably the worst scenario I could get, on the other hand, since he had way more stable scoring units than me. When deploying, as I said, I started off by claiming the right. When he chose to deploy his catapult next to the hill, I placed the dancers as to be blocked from sight, almost out of the picture. Next to them went the Ravencloaks and the Assassin, to be able to whittle at his Sphinx. Then we have some Raiders, Spears with BSB and General. The last Raiders with Acolytes behind. Lastly on the left went the Corsairs, and that was mainly to draw his attention to the left during the deploy. From his right are the Cataphracts, the Chariots, Skeletons with a no mark. Against the board edge are his Necropolis Guard with the General and the Hierarch. Then the Casket, Catapult, Archers, and lastly the Sphinx. I was rather happy to see that he left all his ranged units relatively unprotected, since I view his catapult as the biggest threat. The rest should be rather easy to just avoid if I have to. The Sphinx is also a priority, since it could cause a lot of trouble if it gets into one of my blocks, which is rather likely since it is deployed close to both of them. When it comes to the scenario, I have to see if an opportunity presents itself, making me able to take out some of his combat elements or not. If you just park in the middle, I plan to just get rid of the rest and settle for a draw. My Vanguard looked like this, and if I get the second turn, my plan was to charge his Catapult. It didn't happen, as I got the first, and I instead moved up like this. As usual, the Corsairs can't stand up to anything, so they retreat to hang back close to the middle. The Dancers feel the same way about the Sphinx, so they also turn around and plan to hurry towards the middle. Perhaps be able to deal with his cavalry or chariots later on. In the middle, I move up rather aggressively, since I feel that I need to get rid of his vulnerable stuff before he can come to the raid, and if raiders can't do it, I need to have my spears ready to do the job. I get just what I need for magic phase with 4 dice to his 2. With only Pyroclastic Flow in range, I throw everything at it and it gets in, and I get really lucky when 4 out of 7 hits wound the Catapult on a 5+. My BSB then finish the job and take the last wound off with the Skull Splitter. So that's a huge break for me already at top of turn 1. The rest of my shooting takes down 4 archers, and this is how it looks at the end of my turn. When he then gets to react, he simply moves his stuff full speed straight ahead. Full speed actually being rather slow, so no worries yet. For magic, he get Hasten the Hour off on the spears, killing one spearman and taking a wound from both my characters in the unit. And I also forgot to use the lucky shield. I see. Well, shooting kill 2 acolytes and a raider. When it comes to my turn, it feels very good. As long as I don't mess up in a big way, I should be guaranteed a draw in worst case. First off, a raider unit charged the rear of the archers, which should be enough. All my shooting now aims at the Sphinx, and since there is no need to be aggressive anymore, I back up the spears, being careful to keep out of the Sphinx charge arc, while keeping the chariots in the front. Dancers and coursers still march for the middle from their respective flanks. For magic, I get both breaths in, which in the shooting phase then cause 1 wound each on the casket and the Sphinx. The rest of the shooting puts another 2 wounds on the Sphinx, and in the end of my turn it looked like this. He then tries a charge with the chariot, and since I figure it's a decent trade to get rid of his chariot at the expense of a bunch of impact wounds, I choose to stay. It's a rather long charge, so it never comes to that since he failed anyway. He then moves the Sphinx to threaten the spears, and on the right the cataphracts close in. For magic, he only get the casket spell off, but since I roll like this, there is no worries. It's my turn free, and I start by charging acolytes into the casket. This is the end of my move, and I have just made the mess I needed to bring some nerve back into this game. I give you a moment to see if you can spot it. Well, time's up. You can go back and pause if you like, but we're moving on, and I'll give you the answer later on. So here's a picture of when my prince rolled double boxcars while shooting at his chariots. On the right flank, I finish off the last 2 wounds from the Sphinx. In combat, the acolytes destroy the casket, and now it's time to pay for the mess up. When a casket blows up, I have a raider unit 1 inch too close, since I didn't remember to keep this in mind during the movement phase. The explosion takes out 4 raiders, and the last one panics. It runs through another raider unit that also panics. This unit in turn runs through the last raider unit, who can't pass their panic test either. So they too run, and they leave the board. 6 inches from where the raiders left the board stands a unit of acolytes. They thankfully passed the test, so but anyway, well, that's really bad, and it's hilarious at the same time. He loses a few from his units too, but he can't panic, so no worries there. In his turn then, he moves his units closer to the middle, where the pink marker is, which represents the middle and the objective. For magic, I think he got the dance through and then shot down some spears. This is how the board looks as I start off my turn. I do 2 charges, dancers into the chariots, and in hope of preventing skeletons in their flank, my spears charge the skeletons. The dancers make it, but the spears fail to roll 7. I should probably use the reroll aura for such an important charge as that one, or perhaps even charge the altar out alone. I think I was a bit blinded by the opportunity to use the lethal strike reroll, so against the chariot, which clouded my judgment a bit. Over to the right flank there, when one raider unit failed to rally and run off, and the other two, so now all the raiders are gone, and which means that if he gets the objective, he will win this game. It stays like it is at this point. Magic doesn't do anything important, and I got nothing to shoot at. In combat I do some quick math and go for the spears on the dancers, since that should cause the most wound. Statistics doesn't come through all the way, but I get 5 wounds in at least. I think he killed 2 back, and I win combat by 7. Before crumble he has 8 wounds, so I'm stuck against that last chariot with 1 wound left, and looking forward to getting the skeletons in the flank. Just now I realized that I could have prevented this flank charge just by reforming to get the skeletons in the front. Well, the sooner I make mistakes like that, the better. At least it's no tournament game. In this case I thought it rather unfortunate to lose the dancers, but when he charges skeletons in, I'm at least rather certain to get his skeletons with the spears. Besides the flanking skeletons, he also charged the cataphracts in. I don't think he got anything in the magic phase, so over to combat. I failed to do much, but at least I finish off the last chariot. The dancers break and are run down by the cataphracts, while the skeletons face my spears. The cataphracts unfortunately rolls an 11 for pursuit, which together with the dancers flee roll angles the cataphracts straight into the corsairs. So it's my turn 5, and the spears go into his skeletons. Acolytes positions to be able to keep his necropolis guard from the objective in the last turn. Shades and Assassin move in to try and deal with the cataphracts when the corsairs have been killed. My magic can't do much against toughness 5 guards, and I have nothing to shoot at. In combat I get the skeletons down to a really manageable size. I think he has about 12 left, perhaps. The corsairs can't put up a fight, and he decides to pursue them. At that point it looks like this. He seems to have given up winning the objective and only turns the cataphracts against the Ravencloaks. The guard moves towards the spears, but not close enough to contest the middle. Magic and Hasten the Hour claims 3 Ravencloaks. In combat I kill enough for the rest to crumble. It's the last turn, and I'm satisfied just to keep him from the middle, so I charge all the acolytes at his guards, as I think that should be enough to keep them in place. Perhaps at the expense of the acolytes, but that's a price I'm willing to pay. For magic I got both breaths off, and shooting killed the cataphract. I lose combat by 1, but both units survive and hold their ground. This is how the game ends, and not only does the acolyte survive, but they also kill the hierarch before it's over. It turned out as a respectable win for the Dread Elves in the end, so I guess I can't complain that much. Very happy with my overall play and strategy. Some minor blunders that got big consequences, which always is annoying. On the other hand, I think I would have got a smaller win if I hadn't been forced to go on the offensive after losing all the raiders. So in this game it worked out for the best, but it was a bit more risky. It's soon time to send in the list, so it will probably turn out close to what it looks like at this moment. So we'll see how many more reports come up before the actual tournament, but nevertheless, see you soon.